Totally underrepresented in the room, young family, trying to live in the village. Hard to find any affordable rented accommodation in this area. I know this very much firsthand because yesterday I had a phone call that's left me a bit nauseous, and my long term that's fallen through now, and I've got 2 months to find somewhere to live. My daughter's in school, we have a young family here, and I have no option. There is nowhere for me to live in this village as it stands. There's no affordable purchase option, no affordable rented option for me to stay here. So I'm going to have to move from a home where I love to live in this village, but I have nothing, nowhere to go. So I'll have to probably move out of the village but keep my daughter in the school. As such, as I'm invested with my family and my children in this village, I feel quite passionate about the future of the village now, although I'm quite new to the village. And as such, I've been part of forming the Community Land Trust to hopefully help represent East Hoadley, to see a way forward where we can have affordable homes without the unwanted market-led housing that will be proposed again and again and again in what I consider a vaguely offensive way. We've set up a provisional steering group which includes very active members of the community, Jill Kennedy, that you may know who live here, and Catherine, that you may know, who's been quite vocal today, and other parents in the village that cannot see a way that their family, their children could stay living here in real terms. What if your child grows and they start a family? How can they afford to live in this village, especially with the push of developers by market-led prices determining what we have as an option that doesn't open the door for sustainable growth in a real term for East Hoadley. I have, for my sins and my insanity, spent my life setting up not-for-profit organisations, environmental groups. I'm a director of the Low Carbon Trust that oversaw the building of a multiple award-winning ultra-sustainable building in Stanley Park, which was at the time and still is a site of scientific special interest area of outstanding natural beauty, is part of heritage land, is now part of the national park. So we have gone through the process of dialogue with planning authorities around the concept of genuinely sustainable buildings and have a very good relationship now with the councils and authorities. Just agreed an extra 30 years on our lease at Peppercorn, £100 a year lease for the land of our education centre there. Through doing these environmental projects, I haven't made any money, which was never the aim. I've made a lot of good contacts and seen a lot of good things happen. One of those contacts is the world-leading zero energy development architect Bill Dunster, OBE, multiple award-winning, oversaw the biggest zero carbon build in Europe some years ago. He was Professor of Sustainable Design at Harvard, is currently Professor of Sustainable Design at University College London, and he's offering to work with us, the community of East Hoadley, to see a truly high quality, inspirational and affordable development for the village. That's my daughter's class. So I know other parents in the village, and again, quite underrepresented by the guy. I had to take a day off work to be here. If you're, we're a single income family, or rather we looked after the children in the nursery did all the time, that's the choice we've made. But as an honest single income family, and knowing other single income families in the village, we are priced out. There is no option. And although there might be lip service to affordable housing, what they mean is 8% of the market rate, and that's lip service to affordable housing. That's not striving to deliver something that your children or your grandchildren can actually afford to stay and live here. And that's something I believe the Community Land Trust can enable by working with the parish and not working for the profit of a developer, but for the good of the community. And I have a vested interest in a home here, but not any profit from that. So that's a vague aim, to have some affordable homes here that would be seen positively for everyone, that would have benefit to the community, and not to put in an application that you have to respond to and then go through that process, but to put in an application in tandem where we actually together identify what it is we as a community want and then go about delivering that. Another aim for me personally would be that the design of those buildings was coherent in terms of where we are politically and environmentally. So by that I mean that they would be at the sort of vanguard of sustainable design, that they would embody the principles that we could be proud of, that we would be proud to tell our grandchildren we helped happen. So for me that's quite important. I actually find some types of proposal of architecture a new kind of acceptable form of abuse. I don't actually think, we don't tolerate abuse in most other situations, but when it comes to developers increasing their bottom line profit, somehow that abuse is tolerated, if never liked.
Move on.
Yeah. So why land trust? So it's obvious. Our aim is to provide homes for people, not for the bottom line of a big investor. I've cited the allotments here because I think that's a fantastic example of what a community can do when they're given a chance and some land and some plots. Rather than acting against something, the community can come together and we now have the beautiful allotments that we can all be proud of. You know, I did have a plot there, but it didn't work out for me with my young children.
Not green fingers.
No, my mother, she can drop. So these, we're at a very early stage, as I say, we have a provisional steering group. We're open for a dialogue. That's the whole concept of a land trust. We're not a closed group in any way. These are some designs by the architect I cited, ex-professor of Harvard, current professor of UCL Design Technology. So these are some principles that we've identified from our discussions. We would like a zero carbon, potentially off-grid development, so it has very little impact on the infrastructure of the village. And that's, you know, practical electricity, sewage, waterway works. Again, we want to showcase high-quality, sustainable design, and that word genuinely affordable homes, I think, is a critical thing. We're looking at a possible model, but again, it is an early stage of a land trust taking a freehold on a piece of land and enabling owner-occupiers to have a leasehold, for a long-term leasehold on the land, whether it be on plots or what's kind of new development in and around the village. They could be very small. So there's, as well as young families, there's also an interest from older residents to look at opportunities for downsizing and potential co-housing. There is an endemic of loneliness across the country now, and there's possibilities of opening up co-ownership, downsizing opportunities for older residents as well. There's some design principles. I can't get into the whole world of zero energy development, ultimate sustainable design, but they should be integrated into your design principles, I believe. These are some off-the-grid options that Bill's designed. They look kind of like a normal house. However, within them, in the core of their design, is that they are zero energy development. They are super efficient to heat. In fact, these are known as zero bill homes because they're so efficient that your net cost on bills over the year is negative. And that's one way in which we can deliver truly affordable homes, is to look at a sort of triple bottom line benefit for the end user. If we can use a low cost sustainable building technology and remove the profit, the very large, the lion's share margin of the development out of the equation, and look at a home that doesn't really cost much to run, we can deliver sustainable, affordable homes. And this is a kind of off-the-grid option. They sort of bolt together a bit like Meccano. They've got beautiful solar scape up here. It's got an integrated solar roof, and this is a conservatory on the roof. They're lovely spaces. You can visit one. There's lots of them being built across the country. This is the middle project, something I helped build and oversee where we run our education centre. It's not anything I'm proposing for the village. It's not.
So where is it?
This is in Stanard Park. These are concept buildings.
So where are the countries?
Oh, this is just in Sussex, West Sussex Stanard, just outside Brighton. It's a leading environmental education centre now. and has integrated water processing in the building. That does grey water. Black water is processed on the land on a refed system. And I wouldn't be proposing this architecture for the village, but it's an idea of what can be done. These buildings under the Earthship building concept utilise a principle called thermal mass. This is an evolution of that type of design principle. It's very low cost to build, very efficient, and again, could offer a genuine affordable home for my family or potentially your extended family as well in the village. I'm not saying this is a design we'd go with, but it's just that there are options beyond the box by the side of the road. And this is who we're working with already. I'm pleased to say we've been working very closely with active members of the Village Concerns Group. We're part of our steering committee. Graham is here from our invite from us, having met with him. And again, Bill from the Z Factory Design Architects firm.
Thank you very much, Matt.
I think the parish is very lucky to have this project already sort of emerging. Can I ask one question? What one thing you want the neighbourhood plan to do to support your work?
Well, if we could include the concept that this would be a way forward, that was something that the parish agrees with, that would be a good step at this stage, and then to work with us to highlight how exactly you'll do that. That would be.
Okay, and have you got a site in mind? That
Well, Brummy Log has been mentioned, and it
that
has,
the one that you mentioned a moment ago? Okay.
has actually, Graham has sort of had an off-record sort of mention to some of the Wilton District Council plans that are involved with it, and it wasn't negative response on that side, which at this stage, which is very early, is quite a strong.
Perhaps we need to go and look at that site this afternoon and see how that might fit and so on. Okay. Any other questions for Matt, Jill?
And can I just say that if anybody in the room is interested in finding out more about us, please either see Matt or myself or Hattie, Catherine, book in and give us your contact details, and you can be involved in as large or as small a way as you'd like to, and if you're just dead nosy, that's cool too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Question? Yes.
How do you determine who lives in the properties once they're built?
It's a community land trust principle, so it'll be based around a sort of equitable method. I mean, Graham can talk to you. There's numbers of small families with interest within the community that want to live there. Wilton District Council have highlighted there's a need for some social housing, so we can answer that need as well. So it's a process of discussion. We wouldn't be dictating who lives there.
Right, yeah.
Just in a sentence, the land trust would devise a local allocation policy that would be agreed locally.
Okay.
You highlighted quite rightly that affordable housing is a sort of meaningless sort of statement.
Yes.
I mean, you use the word genuine. I mean, is there a figure that you put against a property
In what?
in terms
Well, I
of
can tell you
genuine?
a three-bedroom zero-bill home can be built, and that's a building that would have met the Sustainable Code 6, which was abolished a little while ago, but can be built for 110,000. If you remove the interest of the developer, perhaps some sort of agreement, if it was on some land, that they get some raise in that. So that gives you an idea of the price of a three-build house.
Plus the site.
What's that?
Plus the site.
Plus the site, but again, I know that was included with a plot agreement on a community development project. So if as was mentioned before, if Wilton were interested in passing land on, that becomes a moot point, but they can be built at that sort of price. But the reason I showed the slightly more radical design of buildings, that they can be built for a lot less.
Thank you.
Okay.